It's actually sad how often this sort of thing happens. I mean, being a blind girl, instances of ignorant people are daily, but entitled parents represent a certain level of infamy for me. But this one just happened, so hey, why not make myself feel better by making you guys know about my misfortunate? The people involved. Me, entitled Mother, Security Guard 1 and Security Guard 2. So since my parents are more at risk from COVID, I've been going shopping alone more and more often during the pandemic. Yesterday was one of these cases. Grocery shopping is a more involved process for a blind person. I have to ask a staff member to assist me. I also have my guide dog, Gumbo, inside with me. The dog in itself increases the instances of bad experiences. Now, during my shopping, I always get a wide array of reactions to my dog, but one in particular occurred towards the end of my shopping. I heard loud footsteps, followed by the loud screech of "That doggy is so cute. Can I pet him?" It was obviously a small child by the voice, so I prepared myself before responding that no, my dog cannot be touched due to him being a guide dog. Surprisingly, the child didn't act entitled, but seemed surprised and excited about a dog having a job. She, I believe it was a she, asked me a few questions and then left. I thought nothing of it and continued with my shopping. After I finished, I decided to stop by the food court on the way out for some lunch. So I went and made my way across the supermarket. I ordered my food, sat down, and waited. But by some cosmic gracing of bad luck, that is the exact moment that this child and their parents decided to walk close by. I heard the child tell the mother about what I told her, about how my dog is working as a guide dog, that I'm blind and use him to get around, etc. The mother isn't really saying anything, but I can sort of tell by her tone and the few words she does say that she is seeing some issue with what her daughter was told. I decided to listen in, and after the daughter finished her babbling, the mother came up to me. Now, as I said, people coming up to me are super common. I thought nothing much of it. However, the first words out of her mouth were, "Why did you tell my daughter you're blind?" Her tone was very harsh, very accusatory. I immediately knew what was coming, but as usual, I put on a smile. Me, because I am blind. Your daughter asked me about my dog, so I explained what guide dogs are and why we use them. Entitled Mother, you're not blind. Me, excuse me, the straight shooting words caught me off guard. Entitled Mother, you're not blind. My cousin is blind, so I know what a blind person is like. You shouldn't lie about that. I think you should let my daughter pet the dog. She likes dogs. It's pretty bratty of you to refuse a child something like that. My hackles rose slightly. Me, well, ma'am, not all blind people are the same. Just because you know a single blind person doesn't mean you know how all blind people are. And as I already explained, your daughter can't pet my dog due to him being a seeing eye dog. Entitled Mother, why are you lying? Your eyes are completely fine. You're using a phone. Don't say you're blind if you're gonna show you're not at the same time. Why would you lie about this? Me, I am not lying. My eyes looking fine have nothing to do with anything. Not every blind person's eyes look the same. Look, you're stressing me out. I'd rather you just leave me alone. Entitled Mother, my daughter wants to pet your dog. She's been well behaved all through today, and it's more than reasonable to let her pet the dog. Me, I said no. I don't know why you can't just accept my answer. Entitled Mother, you said no using that nonsense excuse. You're honestly starting to piss me off. I don't know who you think you are, but I happen to work for Store X, and if you don't stop it, I'll get security to throw you and your fake guide dog out of here. Now, I'm sure you get the picture. This went on for a good 5 minutes of her getting progressively more and more angry at the fact I wouldn't let her daughter pet my dog. The daughter was actually silent through the whole thing. I don't really think she even cared that much. The entitled mother, however, was another story. Eventually, she screamed out. Entitled Mother, that's it. I'm going to get security. If you're smart, you'll be gone by the time I get back, or you'll regret it. I snorted at her small fit and heard her huff and storm off. By that time, my food had arrived, so I started eating. I didn't really believe she'd go to get security, but with entitled parents, you cannot be sure. About, I don't know, 5 minutes or so went by of me eating. I was enjoying my fries. But of course, she returned. I heard her stupid stomping from like 15 feet away, and she was raging onto an apparent security guard, entitled, "Mother, look, that's her, you see? She's sitting there with a dog. She says it's a guide dog, but she's not blind. You have to kick her out. Dogs aren't allowed." I sighed and removed an earbud to prepare for the incoming ordeal. A deep male voice sounded from a few feet in front of me. He sounded rather harassed. "Security guard 1. Oh, miss, is this a service dog?" Me. "Yes, it is. He is a seeing eye dog. I am allowed to take him in here. I have a copy of the appropriate law if you need it." Security guard 1. "No, that's fine. I know service dogs are allowed. This woman is saying you aren't disabled, though. Is that true?" Me. "No. She's just angry that I didn't let her daughter touch my dog. I honestly don't know why she cares." Entitled, "Mother, because you're a liar. I told you, I have a blind cousin. Don't try to tell me I don't understand blind people because I do." I directed my attention to the security guard. I've tried to explain to her that one blind person doesn't represent all blind people, but she doesn't seem to get it. Could you please ask her to leave me alone? I just want to eat in peace. Security guard 1. "So you are blind?" Me. "Yes, I am." Security guard 1. "Can you prove it in any way?" Me. No, how could I do that? And why?" Security guard 1. "Well, it's just that she is saying one thing, you're saying another thing. I don't exactly know who to believe. But yeah, I see how proving you're blind doesn't really work." He spoke to the woman. "Why is it exactly that you think she's lying?" Entitled, "Mother, are you serious? Are you thick? Look at her eyes. They're not white or cloudy like blind people's are. She's literally looking at a phone." Security guard 1. He spoke to me. "Oh, what's your response?" I sighed. "Maybe her cousin has those eye symptoms, but not every blind person does. Those symptoms are caused by diseases like cataracts, which I don't have. As for the phone, devices have been accessible to the blind for years. I find it surprising she has a cousin who is blind and doesn't know that." Entitled, "Mother, no, I saw you. Look at the phone. You were looking at it." Me. I have basic light perception. I can detect light. I direct my eyes to it out of habit because that's where my hands are occupied. Look, it's not my job to educate you on what you don't know. I spoke to the guard. Please just ask her to leave me alone." I don't care if she doesn't believe me. You don't need to stand here and mediate a back and forth as if we're going to agree. I'd just like her to stop talking to me and leave me in peace. I'm feeling extremely harassed. Security guard 1. Yeah, I get that. It's just that I can't know for sure if you're blind, so she might have a valid point. Me. What? That applies to every blind person. How can anyone prove that? If she has no reasons for me lying, then shouldn't you just give me the benefit of the doubt? Security guard 1. I don't know. She said her cousin is blind. She probably knows something about it. I paused for a second. Wow, I'm not even going to bother. Look, if you're not going to get her away from me, then I'm just going to leave. Thanks for failing to protect a disabled patron. I stood up to leave, my dog getting up to guide me. I took a few steps and suddenly felt someone grab hold of my harness handle tightly and pull me to a stop. Entitled, Mother, wait, I said I wanted you to let my daughter pet the dog. After that, you may leave. Me, no, get off my harness. Get off. Now understand, grabbing my harness is akin to someone taking away your eyes. She was impeding my means of navigating, so I panicked. This has only happened to me once before, and I panicked then too. I attempted to pull my harness handle back, all the while screaming, Get off! Let go! Help! And her screaming in my ear about, actually I wasn't exactly listening as I was too busy screaming, but I assume it had something to do with her daughter. The security guard was fumbling around fairly uselessly. Eventually, another security guard hurried over. I heard him bark out, Security guard 2. What's going on? Me. She's taking my guide dog. Help me, she won't let go. Entitled, Mother, no! She's supposed to let my daughter pet her dog. He said so. I assume she pointed to the guard. The guard didn't respond, but the way the conversation went, it seemed like he non-verbally indicated that he hadn't said that. Security guard 2. Miss, let go of the lady's dog right now. I'll escort you out. Entitled, Mother, no, she's not blind. The dog isn't real. Don't just jump in and assume you know what's going on. Me. I had calmed slightly so I could speak in a more coherent manner. Please just get her off of me. I want to leave. I don't feel safe. Security guard 2. Hey, you're all right, miss. Everything's gonna be fine. I then felt the woman's hand being forcibly removed from the harness handle. As soon as I was free, I immediately commanded Gumbo to lead me to the exit. We walked quickly. I heard the woman screeching loudly behind me. The man shouting, "Calm down! Just stop screaming! You're not welcome here anymore. Don't resist, please! You're getting escorted out." I was still somewhat panicked, but I was able to calm myself down as I hurried towards the exit. It was so chaotic I nearly forgot my shopping where I left it at customer services, because I didn't want to have it around me in the food court where it could be snatched. I left, called a taxi, and came home. It has really stuck with me for the last couple days. But the worst part is that these types of interactions are an almost daily occurrence. Blind people are the targets of constant harassment in public. This woman just went farther by physically assaulting me. I woke up feeling fantastic. Today was the day I had been waiting for. It was the day of the big cosplay event in town. I had spent months preparing my outfit and I couldn't wait to show it off. My friends and I arrived at the venue early to make sure we had the best spot. The atmosphere was electric. Everywhere I looked, people were dressed in their best cosplay outfits. It was like stepping into a different world. I could feel the excitement bubbling inside me. This was going to be the best day ever. As we were wandering around, admiring the different costumes, we were approached by a woman who looked like she was in her mid-30s. She was accompanied by a young girl who was probably about 10 years old. The woman's face was twisted into a frown. "Excuse me, do you know where the sign-up desk is?" she asked. My friend, who had been coming to these events for years, directed her to where she needed to go. The woman huffed and walked away without saying thank you. "That's weird," I said to my friend. She didn't seem very grateful. We continued our tour around the event, admiring the different cosplays and taking lots of pictures. We even got our picture taken by a local photographer who was wandering around the event. It was all going so well until we decided to take a break and get something to eat. As we were waiting in line, we heard a commotion coming from the other side of the food stalls. We saw the same woman we had spoken to earlier yelling at one of the vendors. "I demand to speak to the manager. This food is disgusting. I can't believe you're charging these prices for this garbage," she screamed. The vendor, who was just a young girl, looked terrified. The woman continued to berate her until the manager arrived. He tried to reason with her, but she just got angrier and angrier. "I demand a refund," she yelled, slamming her fist on the counter. My friends and I couldn't believe what we were seeing. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. We decided to finish our food somewhere else and avoid the drama. As we were walking away, we heard the woman yelling at someone else. We turned to see her berating a young boy who was probably around 14 years old. "Get out of my way, kid!" she shouted, shoving him aside. That was it. I had had enough. I marched over to the woman, determined to put a stop to her bullying behavior. "Excuse me," I said, tapping her on the shoulder. "I don't know what your problem is, but you can't talk to people like that. You're making a scene, and it's not fair to the people who are just trying to enjoy the event." The woman turned to me, her face red with anger. "Who do you think you are?" she spat. "I'm just someone who doesn't tolerate bullies," I replied. The woman scoffed. "You're just a kid. What do you know about anything?" I couldn't believe her arrogance. "I may be younger than you, but at least I know how to treat people with respect." The woman started to lose her temper. "How dare you speak to me like that? I demand an apology." "I'm not apologizing for telling you the truth." The woman lunged at me, her fists raised. I stepped back and threw a fist back on her chubby cheeks. My friends stepped in to help, and security quickly arrived to break up the fight. As the woman was dragged away, still shouting obscenities, it felt good to stand up for what was right, even if it meant facing someone as entitled and aggressive as her. We were leaving the park. We saw the same woman we had encountered earlier being escorted out of the event by security. She was still shouting and cursing, but we just walked away, feeling relieved to be away from her toxic behavior.